Expressionism was an artistic movement which emerged at the turn of the 20th century. These artists rejected realism and presented the world from a subjective perspective to evoke emotions. Using distorted imagery, contradictory colours and unconventional brushstrokes, these artists sought to express the meaning of emotional experience rather than physical reality. In his gallery journal, Murakami recalls, "In 1985, whilst attending the Queensland Art Gallery, I was introduced to the works of Edvard Munch, and thus began my 40-year obsession with this Norwegian's groundbreaking style. Munch's work did not change the way I felt, but changed the way I thought and certainly the way I painted. After Munch, for me, a painting which did not attempt to depict human emotion was of little consequence to me." In his gallery journal, Murakami pays homage to Australian artist John Russell. Whilst Munch was considered the father of Expressionism, and Van Gogh is considered its greatest artist, I find the fact that Australian artist John Russell is unknown for his groundbreaking influence on Van Gogh's colour and brushstrokes perplexing, if not troublesome. Alone in a Crowd, 2006. The works at Van Gogh Museum Amsterdam chronologises Van Gogh's life and his art and takes 5 hours from start to finish. Whilst following his journey as portrayed in the museum, I became overwhelmed by a feeling of sadness for a man who was so lonely and unloved whilst he was alive, but in death is so revered and admired. I sketched Alone in a Crowd in a tea house in the Jordan in the winter of 2006. We All Pray in the End, 2014. Throughout 27 years of fixing serious problems for people, I have seen perceived tough guys, actual tough guys, good people, bad people, the educated, the uneducated, the wealthy. The meek all pray when it's serious enough. Regardless of one's belief, when it is time, we all pray in the end. Vali, 2008. Vali Naramur was a model, a woman with poise, and together with her husband Ken were pioneers in the art and food culture in Fortitude Valley, Brisbane in the mid-1990s to mid-2000. In late 2009, Vali lost her long battle with breast cancer. In the summer of 2008, Vali would tend to her manicured Japanese garden whilst wearing a yellow straw hat. I painted Vali after returning from her funeral months later. Unfortunately, we lost Ken last year, who passed away in New Zealand with little to no fanfare. Id, 2005. Freud posited that personality is not a unified entity, but rather a dynamic interplay between 3 internal forces: the id, the ego, and the superego. These components are in constant conflict because of the id's instinctive desires and the superego's moral constraints, with the ego trying to navigate this tension. I sketched id outside Freud's rooms in Vienna. The Opponent, 2023. Marcus Aurelius was known as Philosopher King. His book Meditations is considered one of the great historical treatises on philosophy of the last 2,000 years. One of his meditations states, "Stay calm and serene regardless what life throws at you, and remember your real opponent is yourself." I sketched the opponent after watching Mark Matthew train world champion Jaya Patel. in a world that becomes more and more artificial. For Murakami, expressionism becomes an art movement more true to the human condition.